right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the very first class session for the new robot class. Today is the concept phase, or the sketching phase, if you will. This is a optional part of the class. So today you only need some armature wire, a piece of wood, a drill bit that is the size of the spun wire, needle nose pliers, some sculpting tools, and then whatever your clay of choice is, which you can use. Usually for this type of stuff, you want to use something that you can reuse. So monster clay and Chavant. I don't really know of any others. I'll be using Chavant, and it's just because that's all I have. I had won an art contest a while ago and got a bunch of Chavant as a prize, so that's why it's just become my clay sketching medium. So the objective of this is to go through the steps of the creation of our character without actually spending all the hours of creating it. So we're going to spend, today we'll be working 2 hours on here, but typically a good sketch takes about 4 hours. But if you think about it, that's 4 hours to really get your mind around the game plan, which helps you kind of make decisions not only creatively, but also structurally, like engineering choices and stuff. Like if we create this and we see, there's like a spot that would probably need to be reinforced more in the final version. It just really helps you see those. It gives you hindsight. So you don't. This is not a necessary part of the creation process. It is an optional part, but for me personally, it's been very beneficial since I've started doing it. So that's why I just want to always teach you guys the way that I do things. And this is just the way I do things now. So if you don't want to participate in the sketching phase, you can just use my sketch as just to give you an idea of what it's like. And then next week we'll be jumping into the final sculpt version, and that's when you can kind of pick things up. So in the meantime, what I showed you today is all you'll need for today. If you want a material list for the rest of the class, go check out on Discord. We have a material list there. And I'll be adding to that. I'll be adding materials for LED lights, which will be the LED lights will be another optional step, but I'm going to show you guys how I implement LEDs. So, hey, thank you very much for the Prime sub, my friend there, SNGZR. During the classes, I don't directly respond to like subscriptions and stuff right away, so I will get to any future thank yous after we get done with the class session. It just helps me stay focused on the I appreciate the kind words too. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. I use all I have all the firmnesses, and I've used all of them. I'd say I probably prefer medium firmness, because it's not so firm that you can't really work it at room temperature, but it's also not too soft that it has some structure and it holds itself. I could show you guys what an example of a sketch would be. Let me see here. Let's grab this really quick. So this is the sketch I did for the Minotaur project. It had the axe at the beginning, but this is what I did in about 4 hours worth of work there, and this is what we ended up coming up with here. So still in the works, but you can see how it's not the same. I realized I wanted to make the in the sketch, I realized, see how the heads are the same size? I realized I wanted the head to be smaller in proportion to the body after going through and doing the sketch. So the chances are if I had not done the sketch, my final result would end up like this, which, you know, would look fine. But you make realizations of things you want to change during the sketch, and then you apply them to your actual final work here. So, okay, so let me set this back down here. Put this guy back here. Let's get into it. I feel like the camera's... Just a moment here. There we go. That's better. Okay, so pliers. I have a little set of wire cutters that I like to have. It's kind of like mini bolt cutters. This is galvanized steel wire. I believe it's 16 gauge, so not too thick, not too thin. Block of wood, just to hold it in place while we're working. Okay, so, before we even get into making anything, first, let's check out the reference, okay? You can go check out my Pinterest pages. I'll put the links. Actually, I wonder, can we drop the link for the my Pinterest board in the chat? Actually, let's see. Let me do that here. I'll also add this to Discord. So if you're following along with this class or any of the classes, in case you don't know, join the Discord and you can post your work, and every week I'll check it. So this week I'll check the work for any of the past classes, and I do that every week. But oh, thank you. There's the Pinterest board, so you go check it out. I just been collecting robot references that I really liked, just to kind of get some inspiration. Let's see. Let's go here, and here it is. So we can see we got a lot to choose from, but you can kind of see a kind of aesthetic or a certain kind of theme that we're going for here. A type of look. Now, I've been thinking about this character for a while on what I want. We want to tell a story. We want to create something. You could just make a regular robot that doesn't need to necessarily tell a story. But I really like this kind of idea, using the light element somehow to kind of be shining on something. Right here. And I also like, where's it at? This one. I don't know why, but this one I like the proportions of this one. I think the link isn't working. Really? It should. Oh, hold on. I wonder if I have it set to, maybe I have to make it public. I like this idea, and this actually inspired me to kind of, let's make a robot that's kind of like an exploration bot, that goes from place to place, pioneering and exploring new areas. So I like this like weird alien fungus at the base, and just the proportions with the skinny legs and stuff. I just really like that. So then that got me thinking, well, what if our robot, so then, I was thinking that could give our robot some contrast by having elements like how this guy has like this patchworked cloak, over the robotic parts, like, almost like having explorer gear. So, like this guy, he's got this little backpack. And then I was thinking, well, what if we had the robot be almost like this guy here, like runs off of combustion. Let's say he's got a special kind of power system that can run off of anything combustible that he finds along his way, you know, like little twigs from the forest or whatever. So that gives me a really good idea of like of creative decisions, you know, by kind of creating this kind of story, we're going to be able to make some good decisions. So that's kind of what I got going here. So it definitely helps to come up with a purpose. Like what is your robot doing every day, you know, day in and day out. Diesel punk, yeah. Combustion robot. So all right, let's see here. And then he could have like, you know, some like bundles of sticks or something tied to his back as like a, you know, like fuel for the fire. It's all kinds of different ways we can run with that idea. So you like the robot under the one with the cape? Oh, okay, so yeah, see, you know, everyone's gonna have different likes, different styles. This one right here, you know, this is like more of like your super modern kind of like high tech looking robots. There's actually a guy who made a goldfish robot that looks very similar to that one on a YouTube channel. Yep. So that's kind of the process. I pick out images that really I liked, very general aesthetic images, and then you just try to kind of look at those and create some sort of a story, some sort of an idea, very very blurry idea. Okay, and then we're gonna take this idea and now we're gonna step into the process here. You like the Blitzcrank one? Yeah. Mr. Blitzcrank. Blitzu Cranku. Okay. So we got that all swirling around in the back of our mind. Now let's start twisting some wire. There. Were you able to get the link to work? Let's see here, edit board. That should be good. Yeah, you were. Okay, good. Good. Okay. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to make some starting armature material. Just gonna twist up to our character. I believe our character, I like that really skinny leg look, so kind of like a condensed torso where the arms and the legs where they come out of are kind of close together, and real skinny leg and then kind of like a bigger boot. I feel like a cross-country kind of explorer type robot would have these longer legs to, you know, step over obstacles and be able to move around. Earlier on, I was thinking like treads or something, but no, I think we'll do those nice long legs, which I could see we're gonna need to kind of really think about how we're gonna do the armature for those. That's the part where literally the armature itself might be the part of the robot on the skinny part of the legs. Okay, so we take our piece of wire, we bend it in half. Okay. Now we're gonna stick one end in the drill. That's this end here, and we're gonna hold the other end with the pliers. There we go. And we're gonna set this drill on the floor. There's all kinds of different ways to do this. You don't have to do it this way if you don't feel comfortable. But I'm setting it on the floor and I'm grabbing this end with the pliers, wrapping it around once so it doesn't slip out. And then I'm gonna hit the button with my toe. Okay. All right. If you don't feel comfortable using your foot as part of the operation, you can take a screw and you can drill it into like a piece of wood, like on a desk, and then you can wrap the loop end, this end, around the screw, and then hold the other end with the drill. Some sort of, or if you have a vise, you can do the same thing with a vise. So lots of different ways. It's just one end is holding the wire and the other end is twisting with the drill. So how you could get two people even if you want to, one holding the plier. When I used to teach a physical class where I would actually go there, and so the students would be there. We would pre-spin all the wires so that way there was no incidents with people poking each other's eyes out with the armature wire. So me and my teacher aide would spin all the wire before the class would start, and we would stand at opposite ends of the room. That's how big the piece of wire would be. So we'd get this huge piece of wire, bend it in half, and then we would spin it. I would hold one end with the drill, or I would hold the end with the pliers. He would hold the end with the drill, and then we would spin a huge piece and then cut it into size. So, okay. So I took this piece was big enough that we can bend it in half and cut it and use this for our armature. If you're not sure about that, just make a second piece because it's better to it's very easy to kind of cut these pieces too short, and then you don't have enough you don't have enough material to build the armature how you want to. So okay, so let's see, pulling up the robot whose proportions I like. I'm going to use as my main reference here, which is this one right here. So right now I'm focused. I'm not focused on any of the details whatsoever. I'm focused on look at how the distance from the waist and the shoulder are very close, right? And then he's very wide, but then he's got these skinny limbs. This is the part that I like. Okay, not so much. The arms I think will probably change, and the head will be all different. All the details will be different, but I like this wide torso with the shoulders and the waist closer, and then the skinny legs. That's the aspect we're grabbing from this. So, okay, so we can go like this. Make our X here. There we go. Now I'm making it not in the middle, but I'm adding more to the legs than to the upper body, since the legs will be longer. Give it a twist. Now this can be a really hard part right here for people. Twisting this, but if you twist it hard enough, it actually like interlocks and it becomes very very sturdy, very strong. How long did that piece take? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. Typically, it's 180 hours for a single character piece, and that was 2, so gives you a good idea. Especially because one of those was a likeness. Okay, so now we take this part represents our torso. So I'm thinking about our distance from the waist to the shoulders, the shoulder line, waistline. And this will now pick the scale of our piece, you know, this measurement right here. Closer these are together, the smaller it would be. The further apart these are, the bigger the sculpture will be. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. I don't think we need to go bigger. Okay, so this is how we figure out the relationship between things. Proportioning is all about relationship between two things. So right now we have this measurement right here, right? This is the one that's, you really can't change after this point. So if I want the same width, if I want this proportion here of the waist, now I have the length of the torso. Now if I put my fingers up on the screen and measure the length of the torso, and then I take that measurement with my fingers and I turn it, I can see.
Well, I normally don't take coin.
I can see $500.
Special case.
See how that works? Magic. And there you go. That's how you do it.
I thought you were the robot.
Hey, Clayton, thank you so much for chipping in $500 to the class fund. Today's a special case. That's right, folks. These classes are free thanks to folks like Clayton. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. We have a goal set to raise funds for this class, and that's a mighty fine chip indeed. A big chip in the bucket, my friend. Hey, thank you so much, and yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, but let's yeah, thank you, Clayton. Appreciate it, man. Let's get back on task here, and yeah, thank you so much. That's huge. Where does that put us at? Yeah, there we go. So here's the goal we have going for the class fund. If anybody else wants to chip in, just it just makes it so we can do these and these classes and keep them going. So thanks, man. Big time support. I appreciate it. Okay, so back to proportioning. All right. Well, let me take a sip of coffee. That's awesome. Okay. So let's try this again. Let's see if this works again. Ready? So we take our fingers. All right. These are called finger calipers. It's where you literally hold it up to the image. So here's about the size of the torso, right? I lock my hand in position and then I turn it, and I see that the height of the torso from the waist to the shoulder line is the exact same width. You know, it's a square. So now we can do that here. This is how you figure out the proportions of things. So now I just measure this, which is set in place, and I go like this, and now I know where I need to bend that. And you can use real calipers if you want, like these here, which you kind of open them up and you lock a measurement in position like this, and then it's not gonna move anywhere. I just use finger calipers for these quick measurements. Like I'll use these pliers here to measure this like that. See? And then we'll just go like this. There. Now I'm gonna bring those in just a smidge, because this is something to keep in mind, that you don't want the wire to go all the way to the edge of the sculpture, because you have to keep in mind there's still gonna be clay here and here on both sides, right? So we want it to be just slightly narrower than the final measurement, right? So we have room for that clay. So there we go. Just brought those back in a little bit. Okay, now I want his shoulders are a bit wider than his waist here. So essentially I'm going to draw a line straight up, and I'm going to grab it right there. And then if I bend this down,
Could someone please direct me to the Sinat Bush Kingdom? Which direction is that?
Bill Robertson with the $10 contribution to the class. Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting what we're doing here. Bill Robertson, thank you. I want to let there's an announcement to make, by the way. So this class we're funding it right now, of course, but the good news is the next class has actually been funded by somebody, a secret patron that wanted to do a certain kind of project and wanted to fund the making of the class as well. So we will be getting another class after this is already taken care of. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Because I enjoy making these. I really do. These projects, these follow-along projects. And I really hope they're benefiting you folks out there. Okay. So, now we have an armature that represents this character's proportions. You can just see it already, right? You can see how the width is the same. We've got the longer legs. Now let's look. Look at where the arms end. See how the arms end right here? Usually about mid-thigh. So that's actually lining up to normal human proportions. Right here. Right about there. So we're going to cut that right there. And it's okay if it's a little too short or a little bit too long. This is just our sketch after all. All right. Now, what proportions are changed on this guy is he's got some really long thighs and some short kind of ankly calves. So we're going to go down to about here. We can see the entire length of the arm is about, when you look at it. This is good to practice this ability to do proportions. So we're going to take the length of his arm here, see? And we're going to hold that on the finger calipers, and we're going to see, the length of his entire arm, pretty much, is about the same length as his waist to his knee there. So now we know we can just take this, and we can just measure it like this, and we can put a bend right there. This is how you figure out the proportions of anything. You're just comparing size. You establish one size, so like a size of a head, and now you compare the size of the head to the other parts of the body when you're working from a reference. Obviously, if you're just gonna kind of a little bit more freestyle it, not with any particular reference in mind, you have nothing to compare it to. So, but you'll always need this skill, especially if you're working on anything that's like a human type character or animal or anything. Okay, so now let's see. The length of this shoe here, this shoe segment right here, is about, let's see. I mean, it's about a little bit short of the torso length. So let's take our torso length. There we go, and make our bend right there. Actually, I'll bend forward with this. I want to bend forward because I actually want the armature to come out of any type of character that will walk on his toes at all. You want the armature to come out right before the toes, right at the ball of the foot. So we want it to come out right here. See? So it's got about half the foot size there. Because that way, if the character's in motion, which we don't know yet, if you have the wire coming out of the heel, well, the heels have to be flat on the ground after that. Do I find it a pain to make the armature twice? No, armature building really doesn't take that much time, and it is difficult at first, but it becomes much easier where you can really create an armature. And trust me, the pain of, think about it, we just made this armature here in, let's just say 30 minutes, okay? You're spending 30 minutes of time to do something, to do something that's going to give us so much insight that when we go to make our final version, it's going to help us a lot. So, like for example, my Minotaur project here. If I had not made the first one, I would have not made the necessary changes on the actual final version, and it would have turned out completely different. So, okay, so we have a theme in this character's proportions, where we have these really short lower portions and then these longer upper portions, and it's the same theme on the arm here. You can see that normally these are about half. These like from the shoulder to the elbow and then from the elbow to the wrist, but this one's a little bit shorter. So it's the same theme going on here. So we're gonna do probably about right there. Yep, you can see where the elbow bends is right where the waist is on the reference. So, and our arms might change. I mostly was interested in this character's leg and torso proportions. Okay. All right. There we are. Now we have our little action figure here that we can start figuring out our story. We can start posing and figuring out. So the first thing I like to figure out is the feet placement. So is he going to be bending over to pick something up? Is he going to be looking at something? We don't know. Let me cut this here. That goes into the wood a little easier. We're almost ready to actually start the clay here. Yeah, let's see. There we go. Okay, that worked. What if he's like scaling the side of like almost like a cliff and like grabbing maybe an egg from a bird's nest or something like that? Wouldn't that be cool? That reads very explorer, doesn't it? So he would have to be like this. Let's bend this here. And then this arm would have to be like... Did you see the wild... I did see the wild robot. Yeah, that was a good one. How tall is he? Let's see. From the foot up, we're looking at probably about 9-inch character. The what if is... Yeah, it is the fun part, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oops. So this is where this is the phase where you just kind of, you're bending around your armature. You're thinking about the story. You're looking at the overall shape and pose. Not too sure if that's what we want to do. We'll have one leg up though, I think. Kind of like this. This one's straight. Maybe a little bit back. Not too sure what that arm's going to be doing. Yeah, I don't want to go too actiony with the pose because of it's a robot. You know, they don't tend to bend and flex like us fleshlings do. You know what I mean? So we're going one leg up, standing. This leg's perfectly straight. Maybe holding like a something he's referring to here, maybe some sort of a map or book. Let's see. This arm like this. And then this foot more flat here. Okay. Let's grab our clay and begin claying. Our pose is going to shift and change, but let's start with that. Something more relaxed. All right. So I got the clay heated up in the oven. We're gonna go grab it and we're gonna start slapping it onto this frame and creating our. We want to focus on our shapes, just the bulking up of the shapes. And once we have him sitting here in front of us, we're gonna really hone in this idea. So. I'll be right back. Oh, oops, sorry. Yeah, I just set my oven to 170 Fahrenheit, which is the lowest it can go, and I just have it sitting in there until I need to use it. So I probably put it in there like 20 minutes ago, and just pulled it out now. So, and it's very hot at first, but you know, once it's out of the oven, it starts to cool down. So, okay, now let's begin the fun, shall we? Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, all right. So, we're just gonna take this hot clay here. Whew. Hot indeed. And we're going to start building it out, the structure here of the character. Fill in the waist here. It's very easy to move around while it's hot, so that's why I want to get these bigger areas filled in now. This is actually a slight green color. It probably just looks gray. This is our robot class, yeah. Let's start filling in this kind of barrel torso here. So you can see I filled it out from this perspective, but not from this perspective, right? Always got to keep turning your work around and make sure it's all there three-dimensionally. I'll throw some at the bottom here. Just to kind of get this kind of locked in place a little bit better. And that cools down. Just imagining this almost like cliff edge here, you know. Could even see that coming up more like this. I love the sketching phase of a piece. You know, honestly, it's something we probably all should do more of, where you're not even making finished works. You're just sketching out ideas, just like somebody who draws a lot does, you know. The brownish colored one, yeah. I use that one too. I mean, I got these guys up here are that color. Okay. little bit of a focus on the base there. Okay, let's get back down over the character. Let's see. Well, a little bit of a blop for the shoulder here. Now, there's going to be elements of this robot that are extremely thin, like this kind of thigh and that part. And so the challenge there is going to be, we want to rig this for LED lights. So I imagine we're going to have some sort of a tube, like a metal tube, that we'll need to incorporate into that leg armature or into that leg design. Make it look like a hydraulic or something that will be a hollowed tube that we can run the armature wire through later. Okay, now I'm going to define, let's define this kind of collar area here. So I'm just going to take this blob of clay here. Just going to make this collar area. Bring out the belly region. Now my other ideas are going to start coming into play, like him having some sort of a combustion furnace in his kind of belly region for his source of power. Okay. Just feeling out the shapes here. Keep building this up. Indigestion power, all right. Hot burn. That maybe gives us some ideas on some names, maybe. Burning hot. Hot burn machine. Pepto-Bisbot. Co-AI. Coal. Okay, I'm just adding just a little ball to represent the form. You know, that's the thing when we're doing these earlier steps, we're trying to figure out the shapes. Okay, we don't need to know what those shapes are or the details of those shapes. We just want to see where the shapes are and see how it's all kind of going together. We'll figure out what the shapes are later. Right now, we just want the shapes established. Okay, I actually want this to come in more narrow around the shoulder here, like this collar here. If you were making that style female, how would it differ? Well, I'm not too sure, to be honest. This particular robot, or I mean, I would probably approach it completely differently. I would do more of like softer features, using more feminine proportions as reference. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of like more of a feminine robot is Eva from Wall-E. So that's probably where I would start. Yeah, see, there are men that actually have this physicality, so it all draws back to the linking to our reality somehow, right? So I would draw the same inspiration, but from the feminine aspect, or let's look at just the basic shape of, maybe that hourglass type shape or something. More in the hips and legs. Less bulky, rigid, sharp edges, more of like smooth stuff. I mean, yeah, Wall-E and Eva is a perfect example of that. I can almost imagine him with like almost like a little cylindrical head. Like this. Okay, let's grab some scratch wire here, some scrap wire. Okay, and we're just going to create a little neck armature here. We'll stick that in place. And then maybe like a one-eyed robot, classic. Can get some nice crisp edges just by pinching like this. Might add a little bit of material around the base of the neck so this doesn't slide down the wire. Maybe he does have like a little. Well, you know what? Let's go to the back side here. Let's build out his back. To be honest, I think about it. I've always liked characters that have these really almost heavy tops, but like super skinny, long legs. It's kind of like the style, if you think about it, of like all the Nightmare Before Christmas type characters, They just have this like, almost like it just looks like it shouldn't be standing kind of thing. But it is. So, let's see here. Let's just bring up another panel like here. Almost like a brush guard. Maybe he has like a total. Maybe he has like a totally closable metal helmet lid, like a turtle mode, you know. So if he's getting attacked, he can protect his sensitive. Okay, I like this idea. Turtle inspired explorer robot build. It's got these like metal doors that can close and protect himself. Okay, then you have like definitely more going on the back. Some sort of a battery pack of some sort. A pith helmet. What's that? Okay, I feel like I've heard this term before, but I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, I like that his upper and lower body kind of a little separation point here, so his hips can turn around. Explorer hat. Oh, okay. It's a good idea. Yeah, so for right now, and this is how I like to think about things. We're just trying to get the basic bot shape down, and then all those little accessory bits, because there's gonna be like, I was even thinking maybe he has parts of his body replaced with stuff that's not what a robot would make their body out of, kind of thing. Like an emergency repair, or maybe one of his limbs is like made out of some wood or has some wood in the mix or something. On the road type repair. And just things that he would have found along the way that might have accessorized himself with. I do like this little kind of like little head here. Let's see, let's bring out this little glowy lens here. Maybe a small secondary lens. Okay, let's keep moving around to the other body parts here. We don't get too ahead of ourselves. I have these chunkier wrist areas. little beefier forearm spots, super skinny bicep area, and then these chunkier forearms. Okay, and then we'll have a little ball on the elbow to kind of show that it's kind of where it bend. All right, same for the lower part of the leg. A little adjustment of the posture. Okay, I also think I can see his knee flaring out just a smidge here. This. Make some radical changes here. Pose. Bend it a little forward here. And you'll see that too as you're working on it. You're going to see these little subtle little changes that you're going to want to do. Just be don't get attached to the work when you're in this phase. This phase is all about exploring. Cuz you're not going to keep any of this. So it's all about the exploration. Just like the robot. He's all about exploration. He's getting ready to make a daring leap. Or he's holding something, I'm not sure. Ooh, he could be twirling a grappling hook. That would be pretty cool, huh? Or holding a rope with both hands that goes off into the distance. There we go. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These ideas will just come to you as you're working. You're following a trail of ideas that just come. They will come to you as you're working on it. You don't really have to force it too much, If you're really hard stuck on a certain idea that you really want to do, you're going to miss out on those opportunities some of the best ideas come while you're working on it, while you're kind of exploring it. Just fleshing in the shoe there. Build up a little bit of a more here on this trim. the shoe. And my clay's starting to cool down, so we're gonna rotate. I always have 2 packs of clay. So there's always one in the oven. So as it cools down, you can kind of switch. We want the clay to stay warm, so that way keeps us loose on the design here. All right. This one goes back in the oven. And this one comes out. And voila, back in business. Well, okay, so we have options here, all right? So when we're thinking about LEDs, I could see making use of this kind of barrel body, and we design this torso to be hollow, so we can put the battery and light inside the torso. Or if we want it to plug in, we have to run a wire through one of these skinny limbs, which would require kind of like an extra, either a tube or a hydraulic looking feature to hide that. So really it's a matter of, do we want it to be battery powered, or do we want it to be whatchamacallit, plug-in. I like that, these kind of like extra plates going like this here. Nuclear. Now, see, this robot is a cross-country explorer who spends years out in the field exploring new turf and diagramming, discovering new species and plants and stuff like that. So we're gonna have him actually run off of combustion. He probably has other sources of power, but he has the ability to essentially burn, sticks and wood and pretty much whatever he can find for power. So we're gonna incorporate that into the design soon here. I'm gonna use the flat side of this to kind of create this, almost like this bevel along the bottom here. I can imagine him having a nice big door here. That will be for the adding of the combustible material. The classic grate. So we can add a nice LED light in there to see the combustion working. And then we do, he needs obviously a stovepipe going somewhere. I would imagine he'd want it to be a higher stovepipe that goes above him, so that way he doesn't have to deal with the smoke blowing into his face. Let's say it was built straight like this, but then it, through his exploration, got a little bit dented. So, you know, a little bit like this. Yeah, so on the base, I'm thinking we add some like alien looking plant foliage, you know, or like you know, something that doesn't look like from this world, but will look something like we can tell it's a part of the nature of whatever world he is on. And then we can have, you know, we'll use some effects later on where he'll have like this trailing smoke going on here out of his stovepipe. That'll let us have some real fun with that creates motion. That's an opportunity to create motion. That's cool, Bill. I like that. Okay, so let's look at the hands. Let's figure out. Let's explore. Let's explore the theme of today. The what the hands could be doing here on our guy. I think we'll give him like a. Let's see. Give him the classic kind of palm with three fingers and a thumb. Let's see this. Okay, this is his right hand. So let's do the other one now. You know, if he's throwing a grappling hook, we'll even have him looking up to where he's going to be. So let's see. Let's do. sure what our best way to sketch this would be. Probably a piece of wire. And it would be like, kind of like this, the grappling hook at the end. You know, I feel like you would have just an old school rope. The thing is you know, he's a long-term explorer, so the less functional parts, if you're into any bushcraft, you know that it's what you can make while you're out there. That's the important thing. Not how much equipment you can bring with you, because equipment eventually always fails. So give him like a iconic grappling hook. So I like that. I like the idea of him being more, you know, like he's been out there for a long time, you know. Maybe at one point he did have a grappling gun that long time ago broke, and he just kind of extracted the parts from it and made his own grappling hook. Okay, so this hand has to be connected here. And then we have, let's see. Siobhan's not the best for this. We should probably use like an actual rope here. Let's make his other hand. So then this hand will be holding the hank of rope, right? Left hand. All right. There. Oh, there's a... Now this will be, I will curve this in a way that'll look like he's twirling it, you know what I'm saying? And this, let's roll out a few more of these. What's he standing on? Just kind of like a, it's going to look like a, let's just say the beginning of a mountainside or cliffside. Some sort of rocky terrain with strange alien looking mushrooms at the base. Maybe they will light up too. Ooh, that's a good idea. Maybe he's inside like a deep underground cave. I'm a little inspired by deep underground caves after spending a weekend plunging into the depths of Moria. So we have the rope. We have the rope ink going like this, kind of loosely. Just gives us an idea on how that will look. Yeah, it's a nice game. Me and my wife have been playing the Moria game. Yeah, maybe he's got some like strange looking weird alien plants going on at the base here. Mushrooms are pretty weird. You can see the back coming out even a little bit further, to be honest. Let's just add another pad of clay here. Love my packs, that's right. Part of me is almost tempted to incorporate that idea of some sort of like some sort of like explorer cloak that he made. We want to add, we want this almost like the hint of this idea that this robot's been out there so long, he's become a little more almost like he has his own personality. He's discovered little trinkets and things along the way that are kind of become part of his look. No capes. Everybody wants to have a cape. It's a cloak. Just like this little shoulder flap for looks. What if he's got like a pack of combustible material? You know, like a bundle of sticks or something. Right here. Let's create our stick bundle. Some branches all tied up to the backside. I was thinking rolled up map, but then I was like, you know, he probably internalizes all his maps in his computer brain. Maybe as a prop, he doesn't actually use the map. Some combustible woods here. Uses the maps to start the his kindling. Maybe this is a robot that is an explorer robot that even just, you know, is very into like old school human explorers. Like it's like his he's got a couple of books or something, or some, you know, like a Lewis and Clark or something, some sort of known explorer novel book. He's like a super fan of. He heard from others you better have a map. Yeah. But he doesn't know what for. Not sure why I'm supposed to have one of these, but they always say you should have one. Okay, so if we're a robot that has the map but doesn't know what it's for, just knows that he needs to have one, where would he put it? That would be the question. It would just be somewhere really obscure, really random and obscure, wouldn't it? Internal navigation went down too. Maybe like strapped to his leg or something. All rolled up map. No, I don't think it would be his leg. Maybe it would be right here. Maybe he is using it for fire starter. Okay, so to be honest, this is at the point where we don't really need to do more because now the objective is complete. We have our character idea. We can look at the proportions. We can see how he is. We can see the, all these little detail bits. We don't need to know right now. We can figure those out in the actual sculpting of this piece, So I think this is great. I think this is a great working functional character. So what we need to do is to essentially let it marinate. You just kind of let it sit there and you look at it, and you can you'll know if there's things you like or dislike about it after it's sat for a little while and you're kind of looking at it. So, but that's our idea, and this is how we'll go into the robot class, is pursuing this. Now, keep in mind, I'm not holding myself. I don't owe myself to have to make this exact thing exactly how it is. Things can change, but this gives us a sense of direction. It also gives us a sense of, okay, what kind of problems am I gonna encounter when I'm making this? Obviously, the biggest one is these right here. What we need to do is we need to think about, okay, is there kind of like a metal, almost like, I might try and find some metal rods that are already the thickness that I want. And maybe this stuff right here. I have these where instead of a twisted armature at this point, it's going to be nice and straight, kind of like that. I'll probably go to the hardware store and look at some different size tubes and stuff like that too. I also have to make the decision on if we want the lights to go throughout the character or just on the... I think I'll have it go throughout, to be honest. So I'll also go to the hardware store and I will find a tube, a small tube that we can add here. So that way we can, whatchamacallit, we can run the LED wiring up through that tube later on in the creation process. So, yeah. I'm excited. I think when we actually have the motion of this grappling hook going on and you got the wind blowing the cape and the smoke, it's going to look really nice. The glow of the mushrooms, some lights on him, the fire, the furnace glow in his chest. I think it's going to look really nice. So, okay. Very good. That's going to end the demonstration portion of today. Next week, we will begin the construction of our robot with the first class. I will let you guys know all the tools and materials we're going to use for the next step at the beginning of next week. But if you want to get them ahead of time, check out Discord. Make sure you at least have the ones in the I'll show you guys here Discord in a second, but right here. If let's see here. If we go to Discord, join the Discord, !Discord. Make sure you go to the rules, react to the rules so it unlocks all the channels. And right here, Push School, general class info. You're going to want everything up here, up at the top here, everything here. And then you're going to want these tools here. I made a post for the robot class specifically. What should be prepared for next week? Body armature, head. No, I mean, next week is the official start date. This was just the sketch. So just acquire the things you need and be ready. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure where we're going to start with this one. I could even see starting with building the armature first. Because normally on like a character, like a human character, the head and face is very complex. And so we start with the head and face and then build out from there. But I think with this one, there's not a lot of complexity in the head. So we're gonna just start with building the armature next week. So you might want to get, if you're gonna do the LED light step, you're gonna want to get some sort of metal tubing to run the wires through this. And yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm gonna go probably run to the store today and pick up a few things, and then I'll post. I'll post on the class, general class info, any special armature building materials that you'll need. So yeah, I'll let you know if I pick anything up, what I get, and where I got it. I'll provide some links if I can, and then yeah, then we'll kind of go from there. So. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We're gonna jump into the kind of the Q&A session / we're gonna check out Discord for our past classes to see if anybody submitted any work. So, I don't think anybody. No subscriptions while I was teaching. So other than SNGZR, which very happy to have you. Welcome. Yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah, let me see. Big Hijinks has a question here. When you're mixing your silicone, how many drops of the hardener do you use? Also, do you use it for every coat? Are you talking about the silicone I used to make the water effect, Big Hijinks, on our Wednesday piece? I didn't use a hardener. I used a thickener. And I can't remember how many drops I used. I kind of, you add it in and you can see it working right away. No, what you use to make the mold cast. Right, yeah, to make the silicone glove part, the orange part. So it was a 50-50 ratio silicone. I don't know what kind you got. So you mix the two parts half and half. And then I kept dropping it in and mixing it up to see how thick it is. And if it wasn't thick enough, I just drop in a few more. So just kind of slowly add it like that. You'll see right away once you've mixed it in if it's pasty enough for you, essentially. So just slowly add it in and mix and add it and mix. So that's kind of what I did. I don't know if I used... It's not something that's like you add too much and then you don't really know it's a problem till later. You'll know right away, so. Will these videos stay on Twitch? I don't know. I can't say for sure. But I can say for sure they will be on YouTube. So in case they aren't on Twitch for forever, they'll be on YouTube for forever. Okay, let's jump in here to Dragon class here. So if you're new here... we've been doing these classes for a little bit. This is the third one we've done here. First one was the Woodland Gremlin. The second one was the How to Sculpt a Dragon, and this is the newest one, How to Sculpt a Robot. So you can go back and watch any of the classes, and you could submit your work every week on Discord for me to take a look at and let you know if I see anything. So a lot of the times you guys are... I'm not going to nitpick at you. If I see you're on the right path, then I'm going to let you know you're on the right path. If there's something obvious I see that could be fixed or help your piece, I'll let you know. But I'm not going to drill you like crazy. So that's not beneficial. Only constructive criticisms here. So okay. About Ray Ray. Okay, when your eyes are sisters, not twins. Just finish sculpting the head, getting ready for the horns. Okay, let's see here. I see. Sisters, not twins. It still works, to be honest. So. YouTube is better in your opinion, yeah. All right. Looks good. Cute, very cute. I think the way the eyes look even kind of help a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting. They're very, very close. It'd be one, maybe this bottom eyelid if that was a little bit lower, and then this upper eyelid a little bit lower. But it's really subtle. You could just keep it as is though. It would still work, I think. So, all right. Saradini working on the dragon's wings. I wanted to get as much done as I could before the robot class started. Yep, that's today. It's going to be really hard to concentrate on finishing the dragon when I know that the new class have started. That's true. Well, you still got another week because technically it's not the beginning of the real instructional part that you guys. I know a lot of you won't do the sketch, and that's okay. Yeah, that's looking good. It's looking really good. I'd like to see a little less uniformity in these lines. See this? You want to have some kind of coming from the side and ending in the middle. You know, think of more of like X's instead of like parallel lines. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's just a small thing. It can look good this way too. It's just usually with those skin kind of wrinkles. You ever thought about getting a Patreon? No, because we just I already have supporters here on Twitch, subscribers, and then of course people can chip in specifically for the class fund. So I don't really have a need to have another like subscription platform when I already have one. You know what I mean? I know YouTubers use a lot of Patreon, but with Twitch, I think it's different. It's just different. You can subscribe to Twitch to support me, and you can. It's also that idea of like making special content that's behind a paywall. I don't know. I've just never. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just have it open, and then people can chip in and support the making, like for example, of these classes, and then everyone can access. It's like, you know, everyone can access the class for free, because I've personally been there myself where I wouldn't have had money to chip in or to access special content at many points in my life. So it's nice to have that for people that need it, you know, and for people that, you know, that don't need it and got a little bit extra money, they can throw a couple bucks my way, you know, a couple $500 like Clayton did, no problem. Just a few. Yeah, I like that better. I'd like to keep it that way. That looks really good. Nice scale pattern you got there. PB Sculpt. Okay, sorry, been behind and obsessing on details and still need to add spikes on the big leg scales and alcohol the foot. Okay, I'll say. Well, looks good. Got some nice toe action going on there. It's looking good. Got this prepped and ready for the big spike there. Don't you love spending so much time on an area that's probably never going to be seen once it's on the book? I do that all the time. For some reason, strangely enough, I even feel like drawn to these areas that will never be seen to like make them. Yeah, exactly. That's how it was for. That's how it is for me too. I always had this idea that, you know, it's better to just render it out for the sake of practice. You know, so that's good. A good habit to form. Okay, yeah, definitely. It would be nice to see those kind of bumped out a little bit more, which you said you would do, so that's good. Those larger ones. Just add a little bit more volume there. Very nice, BB. Nice work. All right, that's it for the dragon. Let's head over to the gremlin class here. Oh, nothing new. Just a comment. All right. That's to be expected, I'm sure. And a lot of people, I'm sure, are still finishing up their dragons. So Whenever you finish, make sure you go to the final gallery here and you post your finished work. Here's some examples of some students' work that participated in the Gremlins class. You can go check it out, take a look at it. And here is the robot class right here. Looking good already with the posts. Funny. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. We'll be back with our next class number 2 on next Sunday. Same time, 9 a.m. Central Time. So hopefully you'll join us. Let's find someone to raid. I'll be back on tomorrow for our normal just sculpting week. We'll be working on Alduin starting tomorrow. This Wednesday, I'll be demolding the water, the deep resin pour water that we had made. So don't miss out on that. Should be. It's always fun to demold and reveal things. Let's see here. Where can I drop you guys off? I wonder. Mr. Charles is on. Charles. All right, yeah. Let's go check out what Charles is up to. The very talented Charles Lister. Oh, hey. Geneva Suggestions. Hey, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Coming in here at the last second there. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting my work. Oh, it was for an anniversary. Oh, hold on. It was for our anniversary. We'll understand. Lady will understand. Oh, hey, thanks, man. Happy anniversary. How many, sorry, I missed it. I'm not intentionally ignoring you. Very unintentionally. Hey, thanks, Geneva. Thank you. You too, Looper. Caros, PB. Enjoy the rest of you guys' weekend, because the week cometh. And there's much to do, friends. Much to do. Yeah, thank you very much, Clayton, for that just incredibly generous tip, my friend. Thank you so much. You've been such a big supporter of these not only financially but also participation wise in these creations of these classes. I'm very thankful for that. So very, very thankful for that. Appreciate it, my friend. Okay, let's get this raid going. All right. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.